You're listening to the Lux Life Discovered podcast, where we talk with people who are living a lifestyle that reflects their passion, because we believe everyone should be living their best life, their Lux Life. The show is hosted by Rick Steiner with Steiner Event Group, a premier national event planning company, and co-hosted by Shannon Richmond, the Vice President of the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications of future episodes. The show is produced by 30A Media and is broadcast on your favorite podcast outlets, as well as YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TVs, and other major brand smart TVs.
Hello, I'm Rick Steiner. Welcome back to Lux Life Discovered. My guest today is Martin Horak, and he is with Grunt. So, Martin, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, tell us, what is Grunt? Just kind of give us a brief overview.
Well, so, imagine having something like a Uber Eats, but for construction deliveries and for DIY, and we help run errands for folks. We pick up supplies, we deliver them to the job site, or we deliver them to your home. So it's essentially on-demand service, which is built around the mobile app, kind of like Uber or Instacart.
Okay, and you cover mainly just the Gulf Coast or Gulf Coast area.
Yeah, so we have kind of softly launched recently, and so we are in Florida Panhandle, from Destin to Panama City. This is our home, so this is where we wanted to really kind of launch and then see how everything flows and works before we expand to other markets.
Such a neat concept too, because so many times people are in the middle of a project, middle of, like you said, even construction on site, and have a need for something, and then it kind of like can shut the whole project down if they have to leave. So this is where you guys come in.
Well, that's exactly right. So that's how it all started. I've been in that position myself so many times where it was either me working on something and I realized that there was a condition change, or I was running out of supplies. Then I had to stop what I was doing. I had to go to the store, come back and, to finish the work. And so I lost an hour or two, sometimes even more. And so that's really what we're trying to do with the Grunt. We're trying to help people to be able to focus what really matters, which is, on the job, stay on site, stay on task, and, we can help them source, or we don't really source, but we pick up and deliver. So we'll go and run your errand for you and bring it to you, so you don't have to do it yourself.
All right, it's one of those things that you think, okay, is there really a need for it? Is there not? How's it been received in this area?
It's everybody we talk to, and we talk about Grunt because we're fairly new, so we try to put the word out. And so everybody in the industry, tradesmen, construction people, DIYers, homeowners, they're all just giving us really positive feedback. What a great idea. So yes, feedback has been good about the concept and the problem we're trying to solve. It's really just we're trying to help people to be more efficient, save time, save money, so they can focus on what they need to be doing.
And that's the key to it: efficiency and saving money. Because a lot of people could order online what they need, but then you look at the time lapse into getting it and having it delivered. You need it then, and that's where you guys fill that void.
Well, that's exactly right. So imagine, and I can, as an example, I've been in that position, and this is one of the reasons why I came up with Grunt, is I've had an AC contractor at the house. We called the AC guy because our heater was not working. So technician shows up on site, starts troubleshooting, and then he finds out there was a heat element, and he didn't have it on his truck. And he says, well, I have to go to Fort Walton, which is, a round trip, over 2 hours, depending on how much traffic we have.
Right.
And so I said, well, how about this? How about I go get it for you? You move on to the next job today and come back tomorrow. If you can come back later today, I'll have it for you. Because if I didn't do that, he would charge me $150 for his time to go to Fort Walton and back. Yeah. So that's kind of how it came about, and I've been in that position many times. Or if you're, let's say, electrician, and you have a skilled labor on site, try to meet deadline, and all of a sudden you try to send somebody to pick up whatever from Home Depot, Lowe's, or supplier, they're probably going to stop by, grab lunch on the way,
Right.
call their wife, and 2.5 hours later they'll be back on the site.
If they come back to it.
If-
I can say once they leave the site,
Yeah.
that's the last thing on their mind. Sometimes it's like, I'll go get this part, and then something else may come up, and
Yeah.
so that goes back to the efficiency, not just with time but with cost.
Absolutely, I think it's a win-win situation for everybody involved, because you're not paying that $150 an hour for the technician to go out to source or go pick up something. You can get it delivered by Grunt, and it's probably 1/3 of the cost. So at the end of the day, the final consumer doesn't have to pay the hourly rate for that specialized trade per se to go get something. It should save money, or it saves money all the way around. It saves time and money for the contractor. It saves in time and money for the person the contractor works for.
Right, and then when you're also in the middle of a project, especially a construction site, your delay may cause a delay for everybody else waiting on that certain area to be completed.
Well, yes, you are always on deadline. And sometimes you're on a deadline, and if you don't meet deadline, then you penalize, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, yes, that's exactly right. So you just want to be, or also you can, one of the things you can do with the Grunt is actually, a lot of contractors, they bid projects. And so sometimes, there's 3, 4 or more bids on specific projects. So these contractors will factor, whatever the fee they think it's going to cost for these, store runs. And so with us, if they use Grunt, they don't have to bid as high, because they're going to save money, because they don't have to send their own people to go to the store.
Right. So if somebody's like starting a big project, so you can begin working with them immediately, or even in the planning process when they're submitting their bid for a project, and have you factored in?
So yes, I mean, we got to understand, well, he has to understand about approximately how much time he needs to factor into the bid for these errands, right? And so then essentially he can cut it in half, on the safe side, because so our services. So we offer regular vehicle, which is for just kind of the quick hit items you need, like a box of nails or whatever, smaller items. But we also have drivers with pickup trucks. So the fees are, obviously different
Right.
between a vehicle type and also the distance. So, but I think, in general, I think they can cut that cost in half if they factor bid, their hourly rates into the bid for these trips. That whatever the rate they factor in, they can slash in half if they use us.
Makes a big difference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, how did you come up with it? You said you like personal experience led this company?
Yeah, so I've been in operations and development for in my entire career before I started with Grunt. But I think what really triggered Grunt in my head was Hurricane Michael. I rode out Hurricane Michael at my house. I almost died. I was under a ladder with my dogs and tools to be able to, in case I lose my roof, so I can cut myself out. So I will not recommend anybody to do that.
Don't stay during the hurricane.
No, I've been here 27 years. This was my biggest storm. And, it was too close. I think I would not want to be closer.
Yeah. Wow.
And so...
Well, you probably after 27 years thought, well, it's going to be like the others. It won't be as bad.
Yeah.
And
So at the time I was managing, large property, and I was just thinking about, what it's going to cost to rebuild, right? Like, because, I've had experiences with subcontractors who were sending their workers to the store, and I was managing, these subcontractors, and a lot of times I just go check up on them, and there's nobody there. So I called their boss, said, "Hey, where is your guy?" "Oh, he had to go to the store." I said, "Well, next time you need something from the store, you tell me, because I have my maintenance guys on the payroll, and they cost us $35 an hour, versus your guys going to the store and you billing me $125 an hour."
And it's not just the expense of them going, it's everybody else that's delayed. Like we were talking about staying there, and you've got now, instead of one person, maybe a crew of 5 or 10 that's just
waiting, or they're just and they just not doing what they're supposed to be doing and just goofing off. So, but so this was kind of the whole, I think, timing of it, where I was like, well, we need to do something about this, because it's inefficient. I mean, you drive by Home Depot, Lowe's, or any of these big stores, or any supplier, you see all these trucks and people in and out all the time, just going and picking up stuff, right? So I did the math on this. If you spend 6 hours a week going to the store, and you own business, and you pay, or you value your time at $100 an hour, then that's roughly $30,000 a year you waste.
Wow.
Or it's 7 weeks of vacation time you could take.
Dang.
Yeah.
When you put it like that gets your attention.
Yeah. So I mean, only 6 hours a week. If you value your time at $100 an hour, that's the math.
And that's a low side. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's just very low side. Yeah.
Wow. That does put it in a whole different perspective, especially the vacation time. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and we are not. I mean, we talk about construction tradesmen and this whole industry, but we essentially want to help people, run errands, so they don't have to do that. I mean, any kind of small business, you know how it is. You don't have enough help. You can afford, a full-time employee, and sometimes you just need to have somebody to go pick up your, real estate sign at the local print shop and bring him to whoever you need it, And so how much is your time worth,
Right,
Can you spend $25 or $30, have somebody go get it on demand, and you have them, under a couple of hours, and you can keep working, so
That's
that,
true, yeah.
So
it's not just a trade construction group, all that. It's you pretty much will do anything or pick up and help anybody in any way.
Essentially, if it's ready to be picked up, we'll pick it up. So it needs to be paid for and ready to be picked up. So let's say you place order with, again, I say Home Depot or Ace Hardware, for example. You can buy through their app and have it ready for store pickup.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do, once you get a notifications from the store that it's ready for you to pick up, so all you do, you take a screenshot of that order in your phone and you upload it into our app, and you tell us pickup location, drop-off location, date and time, what kind of vehicle you need, and that's it. So if it's ready, we pick it up. So we can move, materials between the job site. Sometimes, you need 5 gallons of paint at this project. You just need to move it to another project. So I look at it as we help people run errands, right? If you need something, we'll pick it up for you, as long as it can fit within our vehicle types. And so right now it's kind of the smaller stuff and, full-size pickup truck. So yeah.
All right. And then how long have you been doing this in this area?
So we have launched essentially 90 days ago.
Oh, is that new? I didn't realize.
We are very new. We're a startup.
Nice.
Yeah. So, we've been building this platform, it's app, but it's, I look at the app as a tool. We're building business, but I mean, we have a tool to be able to manage and run the business, right? And that's the app. And so we built a kind of minimum value product, which is basically a basic app, which is functional. And we're actually getting ready to switch over to better kind of product with a better foundation, so we are able to grow and scale based on the feedback we get from users.
Right.
So we want to hear from drivers, we want to hear from customers, what would they like, and then we can add it into it. So yeah.
Well, that's a good point, is listening to the feedback and making good use of it, rather than a lot of companies will hear the feedback and discard it.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, well, that defeats the whole purpose. Or they don't like what they hear. You know, they don't want to change. They're like, well, this is going to work. Well, maybe it needs to be tweaked here and there. So
Yeah, no, that's only way you can really, I think, survive long term. You wanna, you can build something you think that it's something the consumer wants or needs, and if you're not in their shoes all the time, you might build something, it's gonna cost more money. I think it's better. I mean, I know it's better if you just build a basic product and then you collect feedback and then you improve the product as you get the feedback. So it helps everybody involved.
Well, and like you said, you did this from experience, so you knew what you needed, and that makes a huge difference. So
we had a vision. It's really hard to build something from nothing without a blueprint, and so definitely not easy. Yeah. I mean, honestly, sometimes you would even think it's impossible, but we had some struggles with the first kind of version, but it's lots of time just thinking about how things need to work and testing it. Testing it was just hours and hours of testing it to make sure that it doesn't have any
necessary.
Issues. Yeah. So
you ever have the days you think, why did I do this? When you were first starting out, I think everybody does. Even with the most successful companies, I think there's some point that they thought, what did we do?
Yeah. I mean, it's when I was I had a good paying job. I had a big corporate job, and I was at the timing was for me that I'm in the right time in my life, I think, where I still can make a difference and I can still do something. So I knew it's gonna be hard because when you look at it, if you build something, even like a big company, from napkin idea to a market, it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 years, right? And you can be a big corporation which has deep pockets, and it's still gonna take at least 3 years to do. So I knew it was not gonna be easy, but it's one of those things you just gotta keep on trucking. You just gotta push through.
Well, it's a neat concept, and I'm glad it's being well received in the area. So what would you like to see, like 3 to 5 years from now? That's the last guess. That I'll ask you that too. What do you see for Grunt?
Well, I mean, I hope we are launched, nationwide.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I went into this,
you like pressure and headache, huh?
When I went into this, our objective and goal is to be able to provide services and help people, as many people as we can. So across the country, right? So we're in Florida now, and I think we're gonna stay here. We, next year we'll, as we grow and we move to different markets, probably want to go to a little more metropolitan areas like maybe Tampa, Orlando, and then see how it all goes. And we're a startup, so we accepted some investments, and we are raising more money as we grow. And so I'd say, yes, 5 years from now, we better be, more spread than just in Florida.
Right. Well, that's great. I mean, that's good vision, and you're doing the research the way it should have been done from the beginning, and now you're still learning, and so that's important.
It's a learning process and software development. So it's one of those things people think, okay, you build app and that's done. No, you continue to improve it and making it better. So
do you ever see a point where you'll think, okay, we've got it like we want it, I don't need to adjust anything anymore?
I don't think so. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Honestly, it's you can look at some other big companies, and they throw hundreds of millions of dollars in these products, and that's continuously upgrading it and changing it. Now you got AI coming out, and so everybody's putting AI features in. So trying to automate it and streamline.
Good point. How's that going to affect you? What you're doing?
We have some good ideas what we wanted to do. I mean, we're using a little bit of that. Like some basic stuff like the chat feature and some of the basic AI features you can incorporate now. But there's so many different things. We have a backlog of things we want to do. But again, that's going to require us to really get more investors behind us to be able to really implement these features. I mean, it's very time consuming to add stuff into the an app or software. Software development, it's expensive and it's time consuming. But yes, we have some ideas how we can factor AI into the product.
Well, you're fortunate because that's part of your background as well, right? Software.
No, actually,
No? Okay.
believe it or not, it's actually not. I'm actually a non-technical founder,
Okay.
and
all
so
right.
that was kind of a new thing for me, and so I've learned a lot.
I was going to say you've learned,
I've learned
a lot in a
yeah.
short time. Then.
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I don't know, for some reason I tend to figure things out.
Well,
so
that's good. That's good. That's why you're successful then. Yeah. Well, so what has there been a drawback that you found since I mean, it's just new still, but has there been anything that you're like, oh wait, we need to reevaluate that and go forward?
I don't think so. Not yet. I'm sure that may come up, but where we are currently, I mean, everything seems to be where we want it to be at this point. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Well, and you did all your research and had all that done in the beginning, so that helped.
Yeah. So before we even spent, so obviously I had to put money into it, and we had some local investors who helped us, and they're just believing in me and in what we're trying to do. So it's awesome. And so, but before we really, I guess, decided to move forward with this, we kind of validated the idea. Then we did market research, and then once we kind of saw that, okay, this is something it can work out, and scalability and what the potential is, then we started to really narrow it down and going through that whole process, branding and getting things set up, start building the product, testing the product,
right?
Trademarking the name, all that stuff. So,
yeah. So the like construction groups that you work with, what was their initial reaction? Because it's good. I mean, it all sounds good, but like, do they think it's too good to be true, or would it be worth their time? Did you go into that?
So, the first 12 months when I started to talk to people, and we didn't. It's more like the local people, local guys. The guy with the minivan, the small business owner operator. They all were saying the same thing. Where can we start using this? So,
okay, good.
Great idea. So that really was encouraging, obviously, to hear that everybody thought or still think that it's a good idea, and we've been doing deliveries. We haven't really put it out there in terms of lots of marketing yet. We're kind of doing this as a soft launch in our area, organically, growing and to make sure that all the bugs are worked out and ironed out. And I'm not talking bugs within the app. I'm talking, system, different logistics, different supplier has a different procedures, how you pick up stuff from them. And so, we're floating through that. But it's been good so far.
Well, good. And that's a good point, dealing with different suppliers and the way they handle their pickups and their everything. Mm-hmm. So it's not just like you've got one set, routine for everybody, because you're dealing with so many different people. So you have to be aware of that too.
Yes,
it's going to throw you off. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So this is funny because I've done this personally. So as soon as we had, it was not even launched yet, but when we were testing the product, I was testing it the way that I ordered something at Lowe's, and I was pretending I'm the Grunt driver. So I was going, we had two devices. So I had a customer, my girlfriend, she was a customer, I'm a driver. So she ordered something at Lowe's and she did upload it into the app when it was ready to be picked up. So I just, show up at Lowe's pickup counter and just, show them the receipt. They scanned it, no question asked, and they released it. And, they asked for my ID and released it. And that was like the very first time. Wow, this is cool. And then we started to doing that more frequently, and I did it at like Ace Hardware. And then fast forward, a year later, I had a meeting with Ace Hardware and their employees talking to their bosses when I was approaching to their bosses that Grunt, they've been picking up here for about a year now.
Like it's me.
Yeah. So that's kind of like under the radar, testing area for
Well,
us.
and the good thing is that you did it yourself too. It's not just like this is a concept that you thought of or co-developed and that's it. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the grunt work to make sure it's effective, and that's huge.
Well, I'm the guy who likes to kind of know what's going on. So, before I hand it off. So if something happens down the road, let's say we have an employee who's assigned to certain task and he start, goofing off and start telling me, hey, this doesn't work. I'm like, yeah, it does work because I've been there, I've done that.
Yeah.
So I like to be the one who kind of goes through all those steps before,
That's good.
Hand it off to somebody else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does keep you from having issues later when they say it can't be done or it's not the way it doesn't work that way, and you're like, it does.
That's right.
Yeah. That's been tested and proved, so that's good. All right, well, we're going to put your information on the screen here. So tell people, like investors, if they want to reach you or
absolutely, yeah. They
customers.
They can go to trygrunt.com and they can just click on contact us. We have a form they can fill out. They can also email me directly to my email, mhorak@trygrunt.com. And so, we're getting ready to open another round. And, I was trying to get locals involved here because with a startup like this, if you come in before, the big guys come in down the road, like the venture capital, then you have a better chance to have, better return on investment. Yeah. And so, if anybody wants to invest, reach out and, we've got... We're about to open another round here very soon, actually.
All right. Well, Martin, thank you for being with us today. I'm intrigued by this because this is fun to know and glad to know we've got something like this in our area and that's actually starting local. And so that's good. And I'm Rick Steiner. So thank you again for joining us for another episode of Lux Life Discovered.
Join the Grunt community. Deliver supplies to local customers. Support your neighbors and help us help others. Let's make the difference together. Drive for Grunt today. Grunt is last-minute pickup and delivery for contractors and tradesmen, saving time and money because we handle it all.
Check out Lux Life Discovered on Facebook and Instagram and on 30a.tv. See you next time on Lux Life Discovered.